From the Trump administration on time running out to contain the coronavirus.
The window is closing.
As more states hit new highs for daily cases, the long and chaotic lines for testing across the South, bars now shut down in most of Southern California, while in hard-hit Arizona, tubers are still packing a river. Into the hot zone, Vice President Pence at a rally in a Texas church as cases there soar, his new message about wearing a mask. What did the president know? The denial today that he was briefed on a Russian plot to kill American soldiers. Calls now for a congressional investigation. The video praised by the president of a man shouting racist comments.
I think it's indefensible.
What the White House is saying now. A gunman opens fire into a crowd of protesters, killing one. The demonstrators were demanding action in the death of Breonna Taylor. And there's good news tonight. Teens who were given a helping hand now reaching out to feed those in need.
This is NBC Nightly News with Kate Snow.
Good evening. The story all weekend has been a surge in cases across the South and West. 13 states have now reversed parts of their plans to reopen as a result. And while members of the administration today emphasized that the U.S. is better prepared to deal with these new spikes, there also was a top-level warning that time is running out to contain COVID. Vice President Pence visited Texas today wearing a mask and issuing the clearest statement yet, encouraging everyone to wear a mask wherever it's indicated. We begin with Kerry Sanders in Florida.
Across the South and West, coronavirus surging, prompting the Health and Human Services Secretary to issue this grim warning.
The window is closing. We have to act, and people as individuals have to act responsibly. We need to social distance. We need to wear our face coverings if we're in settings where we can't social distance, particularly in these hot zones.
In Arizona, a second straight day of record cases, with ICU beds at 87% capacity. Despite these record numbers, extreme heat brought people out in droves to the Salt River, a popular tubing site, many without masks. Healthcare workers like Dr. Bradley Dreyfus say they're worried the surge in Arizona after reopening is just the beginning of something worse.
We're not trying to stem the number of patients coming in and not trying to prevent the COVID spreading. We're going to have a major problem taking care of our increased wave of patients. COVID is going to break our healthcare system.
In Georgia, the biggest daily increase since the pandemic started, 2,225 new cases. And in South Carolina, close to 1,000 ICU beds are occupied by coronavirus patients. That state has seen daily increases of more than 1,000 new cases for the past week. California's governor ordering bars and night spots closed immediately in 7 counties, including Los Angeles, recommending 8 others do the same, citing the rapid pace of coronavirus spreading in some parts of the state. In Florida, over 23,000 cases in 72 hours, more than 6 a minute. Governor Ron DeSantis attributed the rise in infections to summer heat in the upper 90s, sending people indoors as well as young people ignoring precautions like social distancing.
This is basically socializing. You have graduation parties, you're going out, you're doing different things, and in certain environments, that's going to be conducive to transmitting the virus.
But not everyone is concerned.
At 23, are you really worried about coronavirus?
Honestly, no.
And despite the red, white, and blue decorating some South Florida beaches, they'll be closed for July 4th weekend.
Kerry, it's not just major cities, right? Seeing these surges, it's rural areas, too.
Across the country, in rural areas in California, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Texas, Florida. In the last week, they've seen a doubling in the number of cases. I'm in Lake County, Florida, another rural area where they just broke a single-day record of 122 new cases. Kate?
Wow. Kerry Sanders for us. Kerry, thank you. In Texas today, the vice president going further than he ever has, calling for everyone to wear a mask. It comes as COVID cases in Texas skyrocket, hitting 5,000 for the 7th day in a row. The situation so dire, text alerts are out, warning residents to stay inside. Aaron McLaughlin reports.
Tonight in Texas, the pandemic is quickly spiraling out of control. With nearly 150,000 cases, at least 2,300 dead. Despite postponing campaign events in Florida and Arizona, Vice President Mike Pence touched down in Dallas, wearing a mask with this message for Texans.
If your local officials, in consultation with the state, are directing you to wear a mask, we encourage everyone to wear a mask in the affected areas.
Pence says he's worn a mask several times this week, a marked contrast to past appearances and out of step with the president, who's only been seen wearing a mask once. Today, the administration defended that decision, pointing to the president's unique circumstance.
He's tested constantly, and those around him are tested constantly and are kept at a distance even with that.
Pence was in Texas to attend an event to celebrate freedom at a church.
We are one day closer to the day we put this pandemic in the past.
Social distancing was strongly encouraged, but not always practiced. Especially in the case of the choir, not a single singer was wearing a mask. Pence met with Governor Greg Abbott, who says the situation across the state is desperate.
COVID-19 has taken a very swift and very dangerous turn in Texas over just the past few weeks.
Earlier this week, Abbott reversed course, shutting down the state's bars after previously vowing Texas was open for business. He now says he regrets opening bars so quickly. In Houston, the state epicenter, a severe COVID warning. The 4th of July canceled.
Any event that's of more than 100 people outside, those events pretty much have been canceled.
At one of the state's testing sites, long lines and little social distancing. And in the city's hospitals, less than 200 ICU beds left. Doctors, exhausted and overwhelmed, say it's a crisis born out of complacency.
People started to act like it was summer. They started to act like they wanted to go back to parties and do lots of big things like that. And it's coming back and it's biting us.
In Houston and San Antonio, residents are being told to stay inside as local hospitals approach capacity, an alert blasting people's phones. But outside Dallas, Six Flags is still open with this warning. Six Flags cannot guarantee that you will not be exposed to coronavirus during your visit. Health officials sending a warning of their own. For Texas and hotspots across the country, time is running out.
And Aaron joins us now. Aaron, does Texas have enough medical equipment?
Okay, medical supplies and manpower are key concerns. For example, there are less than 1,400 ICU beds available across the entire state. Today, Vice President Pence assuring all Texans they'll have the supplies and personnel they need. Kate?